Welcome to The Last Rides. Please subscribe. I don't know why I sing that. It's Sunday. Please subscribe and all that stuff. More on the Epstein general situation with this time Britain's ambassador to the US, Peter Mandelson, being fired for not really telling the truth about being friends with a massive trafficker slash rapist, Mr. Epstein, perhaps the most famous one in the world. Who is Peter Mandelson? All I remember of him is that he was bent as a 9-bob note, and I mean criminally, not the other way, although you know what I mean. I just remember this fruit in government, right, getting fired for I think he came into the Labour government in the 90s, got fired for basically taking a dodgy loan, brought back into government as a Northern Ireland secretary, got fired again for helping some Indians get some wealthy Indians get a passport, using his influence to get him a passport. Fired again, brought back in as Gordon Brown, sort of second in command almost in the late 2000s. And during that time, it turns out that he was actually living in Jeffrey Epstein's New York mansion after he had been convicted of his sweetheart conviction, which I think the charges were trumped down for Epstein at that point. But obviously that would have been widely known, right? There's absolutely no way the second most powerful person in the British government in 2009 was staying in a convicted pedo's house. And the intelligence service didn't know about it, at least, right? That's a little bit odd, don't you think? But that was obviously all kept under wraps at the time. Of course, he left again at that point. And it turns out now Labour made him the ambassador to the US, which I always thought was a bit weird because, as I said, he's always been dodgy, always surrounded by scandal. And a lot of people go, no, he's just really nice, and he falls into these weird situations. Taking a dodgy loan, getting not dodgy passports, but dodgily getting legit passports for someone in a dodgy manner. And friends with Jeffrey Epstein, which is a little bit odd, and living in his house after they knew about it. And then some emails have come out since then in the last week. And in one of the emails, this is after he's been convicted, after Epstein was convicted, Mandelson writes, "I think the world of you, and I feel hopeless and furious about what's happened. I can still barely understand it. It just could not happen in Britain." What couldn't happen in Britain? We have them as well, that sort, although maybe not on that scale. I don't know. But what a weird thing to say. It just could not happen in Britain. Or maybe he's saying they would have got away with it in Britain. The establishment would have covered that one up. Who knows? Very, very strange. And also describes him as, it's these weird little pictures describing him as his best pal. So if we look at some of these pictures here, look, this is Mandelson back in the day in his robe, as I said, bit of a fruit, hanging around with Epstein. There was someone that called into LBC the other day. And said, well, Mandelson wouldn't have been involved in what Epstein was doing because he was gay and he was into boys. Huh? You don't think the billionaire could have ordered boys on his Uber Boys app or whatever they were using back at the time, slightly before the first iPhone, so maybe not, maybe it's on sort of, I don't know, some .NET website. Or, who knows what went on in these weird orgies. Ghislaine was involved in some of this as well. Who knows? But at the very least, he was best mates, said he was sorry that he got put in prison. Hey, Mr. Pedo, I'm really sorry. Hey, Mr. Pedo, I'm very sorry you got put in prison. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Pedo. You're my best friend. And of course, the British government again decides to give him another job, knowing about the friendship, right? And then spent all week last week defending him, having already received those emails. Let's read that email again. I think the world of you. He speaks a bit like that, right? I think the world of you, and I feel hopeless and furious about what has happened. I can still barely understand it. It just could not happen in Britain. What are you talking about, mate? Anyway, so he's been sacked. Welcome to British politics, ladies and gentlemen. Always full of fraud and corruption and friends of pedos, it seems. So that's Peter Mandelson. Go have a little look. Do we get any other information here? Yeah, 'cause I think they were. Yeah, this is where they said they knew about it. Basically, number 10, it's the government in England, had those emails. By the way, can we talk about that? America gets the White House, right? It sounds very palatial and presidential. We get number 10. Can't we have a house? And it's like a drab grey house as well. We don't want the grey house. We don't want the grey house. Can we just have house? Just call it, we're going house. We're friends with the pedo, second in command in house. That would have sound much better. So if number 10 had those emails for 48 hours before acting, it means he lied at PMQs and ministers, lied again about the new edition information. These are yet more errors of judgment. Yeah, I mean, who doesn't think that every single prime minister and every single president is a fucking liar? All of them. But let me take a sip of water from this old bottle. I've got something in my throat and it's not Peter Mandelson. Labour MP Olivia Blake, whoever is gatekeeping the information to the Prime Minister needs to stop, and they need to be getting things to him much earlier so that he can get on top of it. I mean, surely at least they must be being briefed on some level, right? The Cabinet Secretary will be anyway. The only way to clear this up is full transparency about who knew what and when. Yeah, you're not going to know that. You're not going to know that. Yeah, I think the world of you to feel hopeless and furious about what has happened. Mandelson added in that email, "You have to be incredibly resilient, Jeffrey." I added to Jeffrey. "Fight for early release. Your friends stay with you and love you." Yeah, friends of the massive pedo stay with him and love him. Interviewed last week, Mandelson says, "Of course we've made him a lord. A tremendous sense of regret that he had met Epstein and that he took at face value the lies that he fed me and so many others." Chinny recon is the appropriate response to that. Anyway, let us know what you think. Give us a subscribe. That is Mandelson, yet again, fairly powerful in the British government, and yet again with another scandal, this time ending in his like third or fourth sacking, who knows. And he's friends with a massive pedo. All right, please subscribe.